Good morning, sports fans. This is Weldon, about to kick off another day of the TSM boot camp. And today I'm going to go over the workbook that we're going to hit on today, as well as record episode 67 of the Mind Games TV show. And I'm going to go meet Robert Yip of Immortals for breakfast, kind of spy on the enemy a little bit and get to know what they're doing over there. So, why don't we get it kicked off? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is go through the workbook that we're doing today. So yesterday in the boot camp, we basically covered, let me remember. We covered teamwork. So like, what is it about team cohesion that makes a team perform better? And how can teams like outperform the sum of their parts? So there's two parts to teamwork. One part is getting like all the parts added together to equal 100%. That's the hard part. And then the fun part is seeing if you can add all the parts together and get more than 100%. And so we talked about like how that kind of works in the brain and why it works that way. And we identified the most important attributes for making that happen in a team house, in a team environment. And today we're going to do mostly like performance profiling. So let me go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to kind of show you the workbook as I go through it here. Here's the tour to the TSM backyard. It's where we do all the grilling. And this is my little desk. I get the kitchen table. Okay, so I'm going to start off with something fun. Basically, I'm just going to tell them why physical activity is important. This is the amount of energy that you use in a day based off of exercise versus physical activity, if you have like a normal exercise habit. So you can see that like moving around is way more important than getting to the gym for like burning energy, daily energy expenditure. And here's some fun tips. I don't know if I showed you guys this yesterday, but I think I might have. Yeah, pretty sure I showed you this yesterday. Alright, so anyway, we'll skip past this. So, one thing I'm going to kick off with is like performance pre-routines, like pre-performance routines. So like, how do you set up an optimal morning? And I think that I like hydration right away instead of eating. And then going through your morning routine, so physical exercise, mindfulness, journaling, and then eating eventually. So this is one of the journals that I use, and it's called the 5-minute journal. And I use it basically every day that I can to set myself up. Morning, Cora. Cora's here. Hello. He's thirsty. Oh, my tea's ready. Still hot. Bora has left the building. Bora, you're getting a lot of hearts on Periscope.
Sorry?
You're getting a lot of hearts on Periscope. Like they saw you just now, and they're going like click, 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 click. There's his desk over here. Isn't he handsome? He's in the shot caller chair, you know, in the corner. Okay. So, I kind of have how are Woodbuck and Jarge? How do you feel about them? They are tall and short. Nobody puts Bora in the corner. Yeah. Woodbuck is like really tall and Jarge is really short, and I think that they will be hilarious if they like do some sort of like content around that really funny concept. Okay, let me go back to this journal because I think there's something of note here. Basically, this journal is composed of 3 different things: gratitude, priorities for the day, and like wiring up your priorities to your values. And I think those are like the key 3 steps to motivation. So check out the 5-minute journal, or check out like my morning routine page. I think it's mindgames.gg/mornings for the handouts to that. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it. mindgamesgg/mornings. Let me try that. I don't want to recommend you guys the wrong page. I have all of this stuff for download there. So, Laura's hiding in the pantry. I don't know what he's getting. Maybe nuts. It's like 6:45 a.m. and oh yeah, okay. Mind Games morning. So if we go to Mind Games morning, no, I did not work for Fnatic when Bora was playing for them. So if you go to Mind Games morning, here is the package, the morning checklist I have, the daily journal template with the information I'm showing you, and the mindfulness script that I recorded specifically for you to do your morning routine with my voice. But actually it looks like it's broken, and you don't have to wait like 1 hour for me to finish this and then fix it. So sorry about that. My bad. Okay. So here's what we're actually going to do today. See that right there? Best performance. Okay. Before your best performance, so waking up on the day, leading up to the performance, just before the performance, during the performance, what did you do? What did you think? What did you feel? We're basically going to like understand like the precursors to an excellent performance, and then we're going to do a psychological measurement, so a psychometric called the Psychobiosocial State Scale, PBSS, I think. And basically, you pick one of these emotions: enthusiastic, confident, carefree, joyful. You rate the intensity of it, and you rate the impact of it. So it was to have a negative impact or a positive impact in your game. I translated them into Korean for Fnatic, and I forgot to delete them for CLG. I don't know if there's any Koreans watching, but I don't know if that's correct or not. And then you do this for about 20 different emotions for your best performance. And then we do the same thing for worst performance. And then the psychobiosocial state scale for the worst performance. And then we graph them. So then we have this like visual representation of the most impactful emotions and the most dysfunctional emotions for your worst performance, best performance. And we have the worst performance, most functional emotions, most dysfunctional emotions. And we can see clearly, like on the best performance and worst performance, what the key differences are. And 99% of the time, there is on the worst performance, there's either a dysfunctional emotion like relaxation or like overconfidence, or there is a really bad like performance emotion like anxiety and nervousness or something. Not nervousness, like panic, I would say. Okay? But like most of the time it's like under-regulation, so like relaxation and overconfidence, and then the other time it's over-regulation, like superb panic. Okay? And the best performance is usually right in the middle, so like nervous, anxious, stressed out, like not too relaxed, not confident, not underconfident, challenged. They're usually here. So looking at that, we can see clearly, like, you know, let's say Bora might be the kind of person who like just can't be too relaxed, whereas like Soren might need to be the person who's like can't be too panicked or whatever. So that's kind of how we determine that, and then that lets people structure their days before the performance to make sure they get excited enough or calm enough to perform well. And it's individual. Everybody's different for their optimal zone. Then I have this chart, which I'm actually not going to go through with them. Do you see overconfidence on best performances? Not really. Overconfidence lowers your excitement level and lowers your testosterone, and people who have more testosterone win more. So, yeah. Even in women, and chess, things like that. Like where testosterone you think wouldn't matter, it actually does. Okay, this is fixed versus growth mindset, which you can Google, but I'm going to talk about it in terms of gain versus loss mindset. So like playing to win versus playing not to lose. And we talked about that on Tuesday earlier. Okay, then we get into motivation. This is a fun one. What is motivation, and why is it connected to learning and deep focus? And I have this fun chart I drew. So you can see here, motivation and deep focus. This is like weeks or months, and motivation is this blue line. So it goes like motivation's high, motivation's low, motivation's high again. And you can see here that your deep focus goes with your motivation. So when you're super motivated, you're really focused. And when you're super like low in motivation, you're not very focused. And then when you're really motivated, you're focused again. But of course there are exceptions. Like sometimes you're not motivated and you get really into the zone. Sometimes you're super motivated and you're just like, blah, not focused at all. But focus equals learning. So like the more you can focus on something, the more you can get out of it. If you study a vocabulary list of like Spanish words while you're watching a movie, you're not going to get much of it. But if you just like focus completely on that list, you're going to learn a lot. So focus is the important thing here, not actually motivation. Okay, motivation is a thing that makes focus high. That's why it's good. But what if motivation kept doing its thing and your focus stayed up here? That's what we're aiming for. Because you can't really affect your motivation sweeps. Like it'll always go down. It's an emotion. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not. We can like modify this and hope to keep it up, but eventually it's going to go down and up again. So here we go. Motivation affects deep focus affects learning. What if we skipped this part and did mindfulness training and got the deep focus without the motivation? Then we could have learning still. So that's the key here. Then we have some discussion points, like what does high and low motivation feel like, and like how does it restart? And then I want to talk about gratitude. Gratitude is the precursor to joy, and joy is a single state that knocks out pretty much everything else: stress, frustration, anger, and sadness. You really have space for about one state in your mind at a time. So like you have something called mood. Mood is the accumulation of all of the emotions that you feel over... Yeah, my drawings are like definitely something to be desired. So if any of you can like do stick figure art and want to like do my graphics, please let me know. So you basically have space for like one state in your mind at a time. So mood is the cumulative effect of all of the states in the last, I don't know, day, week, month, year. And your vitamin D has something to do with it. And so your mood is one thing, and it kind of like determines what is most likely to happen, but the state that you have in your mind is the one that is happening there right now. And then when it shifts out and other neurotransmitters come in, then you have a different effect or emotion. And joy is one that or gratitude is one that you can like cognate. So you can cognitively think of things that you're grateful for, and that is the precursor to joy. So that's the thing that like leads to enjoyment and joy. And if you can get to that, you can knock out the other stuff that's in your head, basically, and enjoy your life more. And joy is a really great performance emotion. Hi, Argo from the Philippines. TSM, I guess. I'm going to definitely be cheering for them this weekend, and it's the first time ever in my life I will be in a massive crowd of people chanting the TSM chant. I've never done that before. I've always chanted CLG. Okay, don't hate on me, TSM fans. Don't hate on me. Look. Here. Wait. See this? See that? See that? The betrayal is complete. I'm not changing. I think Albert, I couldn't see who asked that question. I'm not changing fan bases. Basically, since I became, okay, Corey James asked about supplements. Since I became a consultant, I basically gave up my fandom. So yeah, I like sports teams, but I chant for individual athletes, like the ones that I'm training at the time. So like in 2 weeks, if I'm training Team Liquid, I'm going to be chanting for them to beat TSM if they're playing, right? So Corey James asked, do I teach them to take supplements? I do, but luckily I don't need to worry about that too much. Has it under control. This is his like super shelf, I guess. Got vitamin D, fish oil at the wazoo, like more vitamin D, vitamin C, tons of supplements. They don't have a lot of cognitive enhancers, so it's just like a bunch of workout supplements. Not actual like cognitive enhancement stuff, like nutritional supplements. But fish oil is like the most important, so like that's mostly the one that I think they need to hit, and that's the one that has to do with reaction speed. And then vitamin D is the second most important, because that's the one that has to do with like calcium uptake and like mood regulation. And that's the one that gamers are liable to get none of because they never go outside in the sun. And yeah, so that matters a lot. Yeah, smart drugs, exactly. Like Alpha Brain. There's a company in Berlin making a smart drug drink for gamers, specifically for gamers, with no stimulants, so no like caffeine and stuff like that, and it's going to be in drinkable form, so that you don't have to like take a pill or whatever. It's going to be like an energy drink, only it's going to be a brain drink. It's going to be awesome. They're doing tons of research on like the perfect stuff to put in there. It's all nutritional, so it's basically just like food extracts. Okay, so we go over gratitude, and we go over mindfulness, and then I talk about learning a new motor movement. And this is my drawing. So this is a forest, and this is like a forest path, or road, and this is like a forest path, and this is a dude who's getting chased by zombies from like Grateful Dead or something, or TZ and 1Z, whatever. What is the zombie game that's popular on Twitch this year? And then here's more zombies chasing them, and here's like the forest path in the future, and the road has been overgrown with like grass and trees. Daisy. No, I just saw a new Twitch report that there's this massive new zombie game. H1Z1, yeah, thanks. Donut Lol. And thank you, Clink. Yes, Daisy is awesome. H1Z1 was the one I was thinking of. And then here's the new forest path. So like in this drawing, it's like just a little bushwhack trail, and in this drawing, it's like a massive funnel. But like, look at all these dead bodies of people that are. I don't think like there'd be dead bodies here if they were caught by zombies. Like they'd be zombies, right? So maybe this is a bad graphic. But anyway, let's say you want to learn a new motor movement. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. So you focus really hard and you make sure you do the new one. And it's hard because you have to like navigate this little path. It'd be much easier to walk down this one and do the old movement. Okay. So then when you're being chased by zombies, like in the LCS, when you have really high pressure, which movement is liable to come out? The old one or the new one you're training? You're liable to run down this path because you don't want to die. But if you do run down this path, you die. But you clean it out a little bit on the way. Okay, so every single time you go here and you fail, it's a good thing because you fail, but you gain a little bit more like opening on this path. And the more you're able to do that, the more that this old one here overgrows and like grows in new trees and new grass, the more you can avoid it and unlearn it. And the more you can run down this one, the more that you open up this new path. And then when the zombies come chasing you, you've got this nice new path to go down, this new motor movement, which is like better than your old one. So like this is you, like this is like your cinder cue. Like you're dropping your cinder cue like in a one place versus a slightly better place. So like a trade. Like you're trading on cinder. Okay, so this is the crappier one, this is the slightly better version of it that you're trying to learn. Okay? So here's the slightly better version, you basically got it down, and this is the worst one, and you basically erased it. And then here the zombies come along, and you do the new movement on stage. which is zombies are the pressure performance. So when you're focused and you're relaxed in training, like you can pick which one you do. But when the pressure comes, it forces you to react quickly and you just choose the easiest path. Okay, and then we talk about what is the best team culture for learning a new, come on, focus. Oh, sorry guys, this phone is messed up. For learning a new mode of movement, what rules will you set as a group? And we talk about kind of how we can promote failure and growth in a group mindset. And then, I think on Sunday or Saturday, we're going to do this, so maybe I'll talk about it in the next thing, like development plan. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And that's basically it. Yeah, so mindfulness. Why is this here at the end? So here at the end. Oh, and then we get to go over caffeine, the performance enhancement drug. This is the effect of caffeine on sports performance. So we have cognitive, mood, central nervous system effects on cognition, mood, pain, and fatigue. We have metabolic effects on your VO2 max, lipolysis, glycogen sparing. We have an effect on hormones. It upregulates those 3 hormones. We have an effect on the muscular system in terms of endurance, speed, and power for the recruitment of muscle fibers, which I think is actually a central nervous system effect, not a muscular effect, but whatever. We have cardiovascular effect on heart rate and beats per minute, and actually heart irregularity too. It normalizes heartbeat, which is bad, but whatever. Then we have effect on the renal system, blood flow, it doesn't. I think it vasorestricts, raises your NaCl and your renal excretion, and then pulmonary system ventilation goes up, and dose, timing, tolerance, habituation, cessation. What does this mean? Dose, timing, tolerance, habituation, cessation. Oh, so it basically just depends on how you dose it or not, because you have positive and negative effects. So all of these can go down if you're habituated to caffeine and you don't take it, or they can all go up if you're not habituated to caffeine and you do take it. So if you see here, you have all these effects here, like mental alertness, mood, juriness, tiredness, headaches, nervousness, pain perception, sleep, performance, accuracy. And if you take an acute intake, so you take a significant dose, that most of them increase, some of them decrease. Tiredness and headaches and pain perception and sleep all decrease. But if you have tolerance and you take it, you get no change in half of the categories that are beneficial. Whereas you still decrease some of the good stuff, like nervousness. But if you have caffeine cessation, so if you're tolerant but you don't take caffeine before performance, you actually decrease and degrade your performance. So caffeine can actually technically be a performance detriment if you're tolerant to it and you don't take it. Then you perform under your max. So that's why it's important to understand caffeine. And then here's a theoretical version of the dose response. So basically, let's say you're a non-user. So you take a small amount and you get maximum effect, and then at some point you're taking too much and you get too jittery and you go down. So your performance will degrade if you take too much. But if you're an average caffeine user, it's a little bit more you can tolerate. And if you're a heavy caffeine user, it's a really, it goes up, the effect goes up slowly till you hit peak. You have to take a lot, and then at some point you're taking way much of, and then eventually the performance will degrade if you're overdosing. And this is about how long it takes to cess from caffeine. So if you're a kind of an average drinker or whatever, you have the second day that you were taking the same dose, you have still the full effect. The third day you're taking it, you have less effect. Fourth day, less effect. Fifth day, less effect. So it takes you basically 5 days to become tolerant. And then for withdrawal, your symptoms are worse on the second day, you'll have the lowest performance, but on the 5th day you'll be totally normalized. So you won't actually have any performance decrease from not drinking caffeine by the 5th day out. So you're fully cessated. So yeah, that is caffeine. And I guess now I should film the show, my new TV, because I gotta go to breakfast with Robert Yip soon. And I don't know how long it's going to take to walk there. I should actually check that. That's important. Let me put away this binder. I stole. Sorry, this one's scary. Can I upload this sheet, the caffeine sheet? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll upload it to Mind Games. This is Peter's. These are my notes from screens yesterday. Precision has a cost. An energy cost, you sacrifice fun, you put in super effort with a low chance of reward, and the status quo has benefits. You get joy and flow state, and you're closer to the reward. But if you want to make less mistakes and pay for precision, then you gotta like put in the work for a chance of like losing anyway. And fun. It's more fun to fight. It's more fun to to skirmish with people when you're losing a game than it is to like tough it out and try to win. So let me double check how far I need to walk to get to breakfast. Google Maps. And then after that, I will record Mind Games TV episode 67, which is composed of 3 questions, which are, in your boot camps, I've seen you advocate yoga. How does yoga benefit an esport athlete, and can you recommend where to start? And Bard Karashnik asks, what do you think about give first blood will affect a team on game strategy? Yeah, giving or taking first blood. I actually like it when teams don't get the first blood, because it means that they like feel behind and they get that underdog like kind of grit mindset. Sometimes you get the first blood and then you like play overconfident, or you already think you're gonna win, and then like the other team like doubles down and like tries harder. So I don't know. I like it when teams don't get the first blood and then win. That's my favorite preference. But obviously, if you have a team that's mentally tough, it's better to just get the first blood because they're mentally tough. You don't need that trigger to like get hypey. Okay. From second question for the show is, I find myself losing interest in the game. How do I retain my love for the game? And the third one is it possible for everyone to ascend to the highest level, thinking Faker or Messi? How does talent factor in, and does talent exist? So those are the questions for the show today. And if you missed the TSM like bootcamp preview, you can check that out when I finish the Periscope. It'll like be there, basically, on Twitter. So you can check that out there. Okay, so let me make sure I know how long it's gonna take me to walk to this restaurant. Okay, 50s, because I might not get to film the whole show here. So yeah, choose a starting point. I want to choose my starting point. How do I choose where I am? Like, can't I choose like here? Or what? I guess I have to look at the TSM house address. I have no idea where I am. That's kind of annoying. Come on, Google Maps. Why can't you detect where I am? Is that not possible? Or when you're using a computer, does anybody know? Can it not like know where I am? Magically? Okay, it's a mile. Hey, thanks, Jimmy. That's really nice to hear. Okay, so it's going to take about 20 minutes, I think, to walk this. It's a mile. So I'll go down to Santa Monica Boulevard, and then I'll walk down Santa Monica Boulevard to Cafe 50s. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll like, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what the best thing to do here is. Should I walk? Well, whatever. I think it'll take about, I'll give myself like 30 minutes, so I'll show up early. Okay, so then I have like Oh my gosh, I only have 15 minutes to record the show. Alright, maybe I can do it. Let's crack this out. Let me get my microphone. Ooh, I'm back. No, my microphone's upstairs. You guys want to come up with me? I think Kevin is like naked in bed sleeping. We can spy on him. I mean, Hanser. Okay, let's go get my microphone. Be really quiet when we get in the room, okay? I'm not going to show you. I didn't ask permission to put him on the show, so I'm not going to show him to you. Shoot. That was loud. Got my microphone. TSM. TSM. This is what we were working on yesterday. Team codes. I'm really sick of this like bow tie I have on top of my head. I look like a lift mushroom. I can't wait for it to get a haircut. Need a haircut. Need a haircut. Need a haircut. Need a haircut. Okay. Ta-da! My shirt's on backwards. I got dressed when it's dark. Oh well. Is the team taking to the workshops fairly well, or is it more a long-term problem? Okay, so mental training is always a long-term problem. Not because it's a problem, but because it's a long-term solution. Like, you can't change the way you think overnight. So there's no such thing as a short-term problem, I would say, only because there's no such thing as a short-term solution. So every moment for growth is like more of a thing over time, right? Does that make sense? Hope that I put that well. So no, there's no like severe long-term problem, because I think severe long-term problems are kind of like short-term problems. Like, okay, we have to dissolve the team or kick somebody, you know. Those are like severe problems. So there's nothing like that at all. It's just, come on here, tame yourself. All right, whatever. This is going to be what it is. It's just the normal stuff, like being a pro, getting better at crushing it, you know, instead of like being mentally weak and pantsing out in the middle of a game. Nice thing is nobody's tilting. I like coaching teams where nobody tilts. Okay. Whoa. This is hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. I hate my life. Anybody know a good barber in LA? Jeez. I tried to get my hair cut before I came to LA, but the place was closed. And maybe it was a good thing, because in Finland, like, haircuts sometimes cost like 60 or 70 euros. It's insane. Everybody there is paid a living wage, so you have to pay more for services. Alright, I'm going to try to crack out this show and then head off to breakfast with Robert. So the first thing I do is like, stop, stop, stop. Because I'm trying to get the Facebook people who are scrolling through to like click my video, if you know what I mean. So I gotta like get them to stop. And then I say like what I'm gonna talk about today, and then I break, and then I go into the first question, or the introduction, the first question. At the end, I'm like, try to get people to follow my Snapchat, mostly. Because I'm a 13-year-old girl, and I Snapchat all the time. What can I do? Today I talk about yoga, finding your joy for the game again, and ascending to the highest level. Welcome to Mind Games TV, episode 67, and today I am, let's see, day 4 of the TSM bootcamp. It's going to kick off in a few hours, and actually in an hour and 45 minutes. We're going to do like a workout that I heard about on the Rich Roll podcast, so you should check that out. Actually, I think it was Rich Roll being interviewed by Michael Gervais. So we're going to do a fun workout based off of that, and then we're going to dig into like pre-performance routines. That's about it. I'm filming this on Periscope as well, streaming it, so if you want to check out the behind the scenes for these shows or the boot camps, workbooks and stuff like that, make sure to follow me on Periscope at MindGamesWeldon. And why don't we go ahead and get into the show? First question is from Anonymous. In your boot camps, I've seen you advocate yoga. How does yoga benefit an esport athlete, and can you recommend where to start? Yeah, so I advocate yoga because this is the kind of thing that I do. So I do yoga because I'm like, I did taekwondo, I did swimming, I did tennis, I did all sorts of sports, and I like all of them, but I'm not a combat sports kind of guy. Like, I'm not really super into karate aside from like the forms, and so yoga is perfect because it's like no combat, right? And it's really healthy. So first of all, the reason I advocate something is that you can mentally train your brain while you're training your muscles. So let's say like you think of like pressing up a weight, like a barbell above your head, or you think of holding a yoga pose. Both of them require focus, maximum focus, and undergoing pain, and like pressure, pushing against that pain. And that is the real training effect. So like the training effect of like being present with the weight lift, not being on Twitter or whatever in between lifts, like focusing on what you're doing, like feeling your body awareness, and just like pushing as hard as you can and getting everything perfect, like achieving perfection in the movement. That is what is like the training effect that you want in the brain. Now yoga by default is set up to like push against pain. Every single pose, you're always pushing against pain, and you're always aiming for perfection of your movement and form. So that doesn't always happen in weightlifting. Like you're not always trying to go for perfect form. Like sometimes you're just lazy and you're allowed to do that. I guess the same in yoga, really. And you're not always pushing against pain. Sometimes you're just like kind of doing a long set and you're trying to get to the pain. So yeah, so I like yoga because of the cognitive benefits and the muscular benefits, but then I also like the health benefits. So one of the worst joints for esport athletes and gamers in general is the hips and the lower back and the back. And yoga is like phenomenal for your hips and your back. Just like incredibly healthy for them. So, and also you can do it like in your living room in 10 minutes in between games. You can do poses like randomly whenever you want that are really helpful. You can do the full series. So it's just like really portable and really like suited to the gamer life, where you have like a 15-minute break that you want to like do something healthy for you in between games, and it's like the perfect encapsulation of that. Same with kettlebells. Same reason I like kettlebells. I actually do kettlebells way more than yoga with the guys usually. So yeah, because kettlebells are like more manly, you know what I mean? That's my answer. Thanks for the question. Okay, next question from Kim. I find myself losing interest in the game. How do I retain my love for the game? I really like this question because I think there's two aspects to it. One is if you have that desire to play the game, like somewhere in, like it's kindled, then your motivation is naturally going to go up and down. okay, on top of that. So think of your desire or your drive as a separate thing, as like a little fire kindled inside of you. And then think of your motivation as an emotion. Some days you wake up very motivated, sometimes you wake up very unmotivated, okay? So it's like going up and down. So you can work on your motivation by, taking time away, relaxing, by finding something that you enjoy doing, by playing with friends, by increasing the social aspect of it. There's all sorts of things you can do to like manipulate your emotions. You can do mini games. Like when I got bored with the game once, I just was like, all right, I'm going to play nothing but Quinn. I'm just going to become a Quinn main. And another time I was like, all right, just Talon. Like I'm just going to play Talon and troll. Like I would basically rush level 6, and then I would just like kill the AD carry for the rest of the game. I would just like get like boots of mobility, and I would just kill the AD carry the whole rest of the game and do nothing else. And I actually won a lot of games like that, like an insane amount, because apparently tilting somebody is like the best method to win League of Legends. But like, yeah, find mini games, ways of enjoying the game. I get pleasure out of other people's unpleasure, so like making him cry was like good for my soul. I'm kind of a mean person in games, I guess. That's why World of Warcraft was such a good game for me, because like you just basically like sit around and collect your own items. It doesn't really impact other people all that much. But yes, I was in Stranglethorn Vale, killing level 40s. I'm sorry. All right, let's go on to the next. Oh yeah, so that's the motivational aspect. Then you have that inner fire, right? The desire, the drive. Okay, that is something that only you can install. So nothing you can do or try to do can manipulate that. Like you either have that drive, that like desire and the reason for doing something, or you don't. And for that, you kind of need to find your reason or your why. You need to look inside and see, am I driven to do this thing? So I am driven to play computer games. Like I haven't played in like maybe 8 months, and last night I played League of Legends for the first time in 8 months. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I love this life and this game so much. And so I think that like that inner drive is something that you just have to decide, like, do you have it or not? And if you don't, just move on as quickly as possible. Maybe it'll come back later, who knows? But don't sit around and try to be motivated about something you cannot accomplish. Like my job as an English teacher. I sat around in that job like by basically 2 years too long. Like my drive for that had gone away. And I tried to motivate myself to do it, and it just ended in frustration and pain and annoyance. So like the sooner I kick it to the curb, the better. And I say that about everything. Like, why do something if you're not driven for it? Like, find something that actually motivates you, and then worry about your motivation. If you're trying to motivate yourself on top of nothing, you have no fire underneath, you're just in for a lot of heartache. Okay, final question from @pave__. Wait, is that 1 underscore or 2 underscores? 2. On Twitter. Is it possible for everyone to ascend to the highest level, thinking Faker and Messi? How does talent factor in? Does talent exist? Okay, short answer, no. Long answer, yes. Kind of. Talent does not exist in the way that like people think talent exists. Like they look at a sports star and they say, wow, he's so talented at League of Legends. He's so talented at soccer. No. We're not genetically selected, like through natural selection, to be good at soccer or to be good at League of Legends. There's no talent for a sport or something like that. However, there is a talent for things like focus. There's a talent for things like, there's like 40% to 60% genetic lottery for being cool under pressure. So like you were born the kind of person who's going to be cool under pressure, or you weren't. So like that's not a bad thing, because being cool under pressure means that you're not really able to be on task like outside of pressure, because the pressure situation is what activates you. So like you could think of like that as a problem in some cases, because you have to train so long without pressure. And then so like there's people who like can't train very well, but then they perform excellently, and there's people who like train very well and they can't perform well. So you each have your own demons to kind of conquer in your growth. But Basically, what we've discovered in the research on talent detection is that the number one overarching absolute and only talent is motivation, is your ability to drive yourself to the extreme levels of performance every day, all day, every day, all day, without break. And if you can do that, then you can succeed. That is the differentiating factor between high performers and no performers, between the best and the greatest. So so yes, there is kind of a talent, because the talent is being able to apply yourself, and that's a combination of like a little bit of genetics, a little bit of like how you're raised, your nurture, like your environment, like what is it that gives people that insane drive to have the kind of focus necessary that when they train, they gain more ground than the other person training. Because we've all seen that. We've seen people who train 8 hours and people who train 8 hours, and one person ends up better. That's because of their level of focus and commitment to the training, their ability to undergo pain for the sake of growth, their ability to say, like, this is not perfect, and it needs to be, and I'm not going to rest and forgive myself until, like, this is better. And so perfectionism is, like, actually kind of a problem in, like, sport in a way, or in life in a way. Like people think of perfectionism as a bad thing, but in a lot of ways, perfectionism is one of the things that leads to, like, high performance. And so, like, this, like, negative attribute becomes, like, somewhat like a positive thing in a way, although eventually it limits you. So it's not actually the best path to perfection, because it, like, prevents you from taking the risks necessary sometimes. But if you look at, like, a lot of, like, high quality esport athletes, like, a lot of them are perfectionists. So you can start that way and transition, I like to think. So that's my answer about talent, and I hope it was helpful. And I want to end today's show on a quote by Brett Favre, who was a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, and who was one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And he says, "Most talented players don't always succeed. Some don't even make the team. It's more what's inside." So this is speaking to, like, the standout star who's, like, really good young and early and thinks, like, I'm so talented. They don't actually have the work ethic and the grit to keep on that, because they think that they should be more talented and they should get the easy win. So, like, losing the game is threatening to them because it means that they're not talented anymore. Whereas for people who have grit and motivation and determination, like, losing the game is just a sign that they have somewhere to go still. So that's one of the reasons that, like, thinking that you have talent early on is pretty dangerous, and maybe not having talent is the correct mindset to push forward. Like, for example, Michael Jordan, who was like, you're not good enough to be on this college basketball team, sorry. He was like, to heck I'm not, frickin' A. And then he became the greatest basketball player ever. Alright, so thanks for the show, and I will see you guys next time. Follow me on Periscope at MindGamesWeldon. Hello. Okay, I gotta stop that recording. Where's the stop button? Come here, stop button. Okay, I gotta run, guys. I'm gonna go eat with Robert Yip from Immortals. He's one of the guys I've been working with. Like, he was, I think I told you yesterday, he was the one of the first esports psychologists in the world. He worked with the little one, which was a StarCraft. My Snapchat is at MindGamesWeldon, which is a StarCraft 2 player. So he worked with, like, EG players in StarCraft 2, and he's a physical trainer. And when teams call me up and like ask for training and I'm too busy, I shove a bunch of people, like, at them who I've been working with on mindgames.gg, and Robert is one of the people I shove at them. And amazingly, he had fantastic success, like, working with a couple teams, and also now getting hired full-time by Immortals to be their, like, performance coach in terms of physical and mental attributes. So I'm here in LA, and I get to, like, hang out with him and say hi, and I'm really excited. Apparently the Immortals house is really close to the TSM house, so we're going to go meet at a neutral third-party ground. Alright, see you guys tomorrow, probably. It's LCS day. Let's bring it.